No film breakdown today, but we are going to talk about that game and the things I noticed and the things that can be fixed heading home for Buffalo and into the playoffs. What is up, Finn fans? I'm already over the Ravens game. I'm over it. I'm done. I'm on to Buffalo. It is what it is. We got the absolute crap kicked out of us. But just like the 49ers did, we're going to bounce back. I don't give a crap. I really don't. No, I'm being dead serious. I don't. But I will say this. Emphatically, you guys did not want a film breakdown today. Over on YouTube, again, community tab. So if you're ever like, hey, where can I see your posts that are, updates or yada yada, or if I'm a member, where can I see special videos for me? It's in the community tab. So if you go to the homepage and you go over, it says community. That's where I put this poll up, and 1.9 thousand of you voted, and 79% voted, please God, no, don't do a film breakdown. And then I went over on Twitter and I did the same thing. And 768 voted, not as much. But 74.5% said no, please God, no. So my wish is your command. I do this for you. No film breakdown today. But I am going to still talk about the game, and I am going to still talk about things that I've noticed and things that I think the Dolphins can improve on, like I said, going into this week's game and the playoffs. Because I did watch the film breakdown. I did sit there for another hour and a half, 2 hours, and broke down the film for myself. And what I noticed was just sloppy football. Now, could the Dolphins have won that game if they cleaned a lot of things up and got their heads out of their butts? Yes. But once the dam broke, it broke. And then the sloppiness got sloppier. And it's like when, I'm trying to equate it to something. It's like when you're holding a pot of water. It's not boiling. But you're holding a pot of water, and all of a sudden you start walking and you start spilling everywhere. And then you start getting more frantic and you start spilling everywhere. That's kind of what the Dolphins did. Because the first quarter was good. Then the second quarter got a little sloppy. And then it ended real bad. They went into halftime, and you thought they were going to clean it up. They came out of the half, and it got sloppier and sloppier. And again, it's that person who's holding cups of water or something, and they start getting frantic because they start getting a little water on them, and then they start freaking out. Or when you tell someone, oh, you got a bug on your shoulder. What? And they start freaking out. That's what happened with the Dolphins in this game. It was fine. Then there was little hiccups, like we forced them to punt. And then we punted. And then it just downhill. But I'm going to break it all down. I do have pictures that I'll show because I took some screenshots of instances that I was like, good, bad, should have done this, didn't do this and that. So let me just go into a few things. First and foremost, I noticed that on some of the plays, and I'm saying some of the plays where the Ravens got big chunk yardage was because they kept 7. I'll repeat that one more time. They kept 7 in to block at some points. They were aware that we are the second to their first in sacks. And a lot of the chunk plays on the crossing routes, and even plays where the receiver was done running his route and he kind of ran back to the ball on a 25-yard pass, was because they kept 7 in to block our 4. And it gave Lamar a ton of time. Throughout the whole game, Lamar had an average of 3.14 seconds time to throw. That's not release time. That's him dropping back and planting his feet and just waiting for people to get open. He just waited. He had all the time in the world in this game, 3.14 seconds, to just wait for people to get open. There was that. On the flip, Tua had 2.28 seconds to throw, so almost a minute less. Now, Tua can work with that. You go look at his PFF. You go look at the good games where he plays really well, like against Washington, and then the Jets. He played really. He had around the same time to throw, so he could still work with that. But that's one big thing I noticed. The other big thing I noticed before I go into more detail on this game, the big guys that we needed, to step up, needed to carry the team, needed to make the plays, needed to be the guys, didn't. Tyreek dropped the ball literally and figuratively. He even came out and said it. He could have made himself more open and found the holes and this, and that. Tua obviously dropped the ball. 2 interceptions, really killed drives and really killed our chance of coming back in this game. Christian Wilkins was non-existent. We had 1 sack on the day, and it was from Sealer, and that's just because of really good coverage on the back end allowed Sealer to eventually get to him, because, again, they kept like 6 in to block. Javon Holland kind of was non-existent. You needed him to bounce back, but, again, I don't think he was 100%, so I'm going to hold my reservation on, harping on Javon too much, because I think he came back because we needed him, but I think he was rocking at probably like 80%. But besides the 1 likely touchdown that he gave up, he wasn't that bad. But to me, the big 3 in Hill, Tua, and Wilkins were kind of, they didn't help. They didn't take the lead. They didn't do what they needed to do. And I'm going to get into more detail on that, right? So first off, we're going to start with the first quarter. And we march right down the field and just throw a beautiful touchdown pass. I took a screenshot of it, and it's just an absolute beautiful dot. Minimize myself. In between the 2 defenders. Like, it was Cedric Wilson. Just a beautiful throw. He had other opportunities that he could have dumped it off. I don't know what the down and distance was. I didn't write it down. But just a laser in between these 2 defenders for Cedric to catch that for a touchdown. It was just an absolute thing of beauty. And you're sitting there up 7-0, first drive, march down the field. Just, okay, cool. Our defense comes out. We force them into a 3rd and 16. And on that 3rd and 16, you got to give it to the Ravens. They had good blocking, but also we took horrible angles on the tackling on that. We should have forced them to punt there. 3rd and 16, they throw a screen and they get the first down. Killed the momentum. We were pushing them back. You stop that, you have a potential to go up 14-0, momentum shifter, all that stuff. Poor angles, poor tackling. Again, it's the sloppiness. Like I said, all of a sudden you start shaking with that water in your hand. But like I said, kept 7 in, allowed, forever to get the guys open. And then the touchdown, which was to Hill, their running back, was the same thing that happened like 2 or 3 plays before, where it was a wheel route and they got called for offensive pass interference. It was the same play. And instead of Duke Riley realizing this is the same play, and I see the receiver trying to run his route, and I got my corner there as well, I'm going to take it up. So you got your 2 guys, and instead of running towards the wheel, let me take it upfield more because I know it's a wheel route. He ran right into the receiver again. Slowed him down, easy touchdown. So again, that's on Duke. That's his mental mistakes. That's the sloppiness. You start shaking the water a little bit more. Then we get the ball back. We march down the field. Tua again looking sharp, making throws, doing the thing he had to do. This is where Tyreek Hill drops a butt-naked open touchdown. So we're up now 10-7 instead of 14-7. Now, could it be a momentum shift? Yes, 100%. A little bit more, a better feeling instead of being up 3 or up 7. Things could change, all that stuff. Next defensive drive, we stop them. Sealer gets the sack, and we forced him to punt, and it was because of good coverage down the field. He, again, had forever to run around and try to throw the ball. Sealer gets in there, gets the sack. So, again, think about it. Think about it this way. Tyreek Hill catches that touchdown. We don't crap the bed on 3rd and 16. We could be up 14-0, forcing them to punt. Completely shift it. So, again, you look at this Ravens game and you look at the back end of it. We got blown out. But when you look at the film, it was a lot of our own mistakes. It was a lot of sloppiness, drop touchdowns, bad angles, miscommunication, and not taking the route you should have. A lot of stuff that we could clean up and need to clean up. So again, I promise you guys I wouldn't do the film breakdown because again, where I took the survey, but me sitting there watching it, I'm like, that first quarter, the Dolphins easily could have been up 14-0, punting the ball, ending the first quarter. And all of a sudden, people would be sitting back like, oh my God, oh my God. We get the ball back. And this play happened 3 times in this game. And they need to continue doing it. Hit Durham Smythe up the seam for 22 yards. They need to incorporate that in the playbook way more often because it is clutch and it works. Then I noticed the first sack of the game. I think Tua only got sacked 3 times. So the offensive line did much better than I thought they would against the Ravens. First sack of the game was a fake pitch. Like a fake, like play action type situation. And then Tua was getting ready to throw it. Well, he's a lefty, but you know what I'm saying. The edge rusher didn't bite on the fake for 1 second. It was kind of like the sack that we got on the Jets the first time we played them, where I think it was Wilkins didn't bite on the play action at all and just destroyed Boyle. Just completely killed him. Same thing happened. So Tua drops back, does a play action. He doesn't bite on it. Free rusher. He looks. No one's open. I didn't take a screenshot. You can believe me or not. No one's open. Tua tries to step up. Again, no one's open, and he takes the sack. So in that situation, the sack is not Tua's fault. It's just they didn't bite on the play action, and he came right through. 3rd and 11. I have this pick for 3rd and 11 because this bothered me. And on 3rd and 11, Tua tries to do his usual, let me see that thong. No, he tries to do the usual, I'm going to fit this into a tight situation. He tries to hit Cedric Wilson in the Bermuda Triangle like he loves to. But he doesn't need to throw that pass. I didn't even notice this. Good for you, Jones. Look, you just destroyed that man. He didn't need to on 3rd and 7. You have Durham Smythe out here. Now, obviously, he's coming off of Smythe because the ball is thrown. Ball's right here. But look at Tyreek. Like, you have a guy underneath. You had Smythe on the out route. Why are you trying to force it into the Bermuda Triangle? Like, that's like his favorite thing to do. Like, he's like, I could do it. I understand you could do it. We've seen you do it. You've done it all season. We need you to make the plays. We need you to take what they're giving you. Don't try to force things. Don't try to, do things that you can do. You know what I'm saying? Just take what they're giving you. And what they're giving you right now is the underneath, and they're giving you this with Tyreek. Take it. Because, again, we forced them to punt. So in this situation, it is 10-7. We are still up 3. We continue to march down the field. We continue to go up points. And in this situation with the Baltimore Ravens, it wasn't going to be a game where our defense was going to dominate them. In the opportunities we had to stop them, we needed on offense to take advantage of it because it was going to be a shootout. But he tried to force it into the triple coverage. Pass got broken up. We end up punting. Then on the flip side, they start marching down the field. Again, 5 seconds to throw. At one point, I sat there and I counted. And he dropped back and went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He threw the ball. Like, he literally backed up and was doing the hop. And he was looking, and he was looking, and he was looking, and he was looking, and then he threw the ball. Because they kept keeping 6 and 7 in to block our 4. So he had so much time. And then it was the crazy 33-yard pass to Odell with Cater, who, Odell caught it. Cater should have turned his head around more, went for the ball. It is what it is. Cater's not really a good boundary corner. And then they punch it in. So now we're down 17-10. Because they ended up kicking a field goal at some point that I didn't talk about. Unless I'm losing my mind. No, we're down 14-10. Yeah, they have no point to the kick field. My apologies, my brain. So again, you could see sloppiness, things that are happening, the missed throws, the miscommunication, not reading the ball, not getting pressure. All of these things could be cleaned up and fixed, and the game could have been, it could have been switched with a catch from Tyreek. It could have been switched with completions from Tua and just taking what they're giving you. The game could have been completely done, or not done, obviously not done, but different. Not a blowout, not us scratching and clawing and trying to get our way out of this deep deficit and having to call stupid plays. So then we get the ball back. And again, 16-yarder. Can you guess to who? Durham Smythe up the seam. 4th and 20, not 25, 4th and 5. Tua hits Tyreek Hill on a beautiful 25-yard pass to Tyreek Hill. It's like a nice fade to the left side. Perfect. He had a corner on his back. He had a safety over top. It was one of these. Tyreek went towards the sideline, dropped it right to him on 4th and 5. Went for it. Absolutely loved it. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Now we're down. We're on there like 20-something. It's 3rd and 10, right? And Tua tries to hit Tyreek Hill, throws it high. He had Braxton behind him. It was Tyreek ran it out. Braxton kind of ran the deeper out. He had Braxton behind him, but he tried to get it to Tyreek. He threw it a little high, couldn't catch it. Gets bumped in the back. And I noticed that Tua was targeting Tyreek a lot, obviously. He did hit Barrios like once or twice. Tried to hit Craycraft, was hitting Durham up the seam, was dropping it off to Jeff Wilson. He did hit Cedric a few times, and Devon Achane. But I'm going to show you this picture here. And this is probably, let me go the other way with it. This is probably why you weren't seeing a lot of Chosen. The ball was just snapped, and that man fell. Like he went to plant his foot and go to the outside, and he fell. So at this point, obviously Tua's not looking this way. He's got 3 receivers here. He's got Cedric, who's going to run a go. He's got Tyreek, who's running this out, and then he's got Braxton, who's running a deeper out. He had Braxton on the deep route. He tried to hit Tyreek Hill here. Jeez Louise, was a little too high, incomplete. And instead of going for it, like again, we went for it on 4th and 5. And we're down 14-10 at this point. We kicked the field goal. So we're down just 1 point. But then they start, you can't settle for field goals. Again, sloppiness, the water's shaking a little bit more. We're getting a little bit more flustered because they are answering our points with touchdowns. We're answering their points with field goals in the first quarter and a half. They're answering ours with touchdowns. And you can't have that, especially in the playoffs, especially against Buffalo. Then huge miscommunication. So that touchdown pass to Zay Flowers, I watched it again because I was like, what is Eli Apple doing? And what is this happening? And yada, yada. It was an absolute huge miscommunication between Duke Riley and Eli Apple, where Duke Riley was coming across on a shift. Wide receiver shifted over. And instead of taking the inside man because Eli is playing the outside, he tries to take the outside as well and essentially kind of runs into Eli Apple. Eli Apple's like, am I taking the inside now because you're coming to the outside? But why on God's green earth would Duke Riley cover Zay Flowers? And then Zay Flowers just went up the sideline, butt naked open. Huge miscommunication between those two guys, and there's a liability. Because that wouldn't have happened to Jerome Baker. That wouldn't have happened to Xavier Howard. There wouldn't have been that miscommunication where they ran into each other. Again, sloppiness, water shaking, we're beating ourselves. So they instantly get the touchdown. So now we're down 21-13, and now we come in. Durham Smythe down the seam for 16 yards. Keep that in the playbook. 2 minutes before the end of the first half, they rush a play. Why did they rush a play? I have no idea. But they rush a play. Tua drops back. Queen reads his eyes, Cedric Wilson is covered. Then Queen comes over, one-handed interception. I honestly do not know why he rushed that. But what kills me is when you watch it again, you had Durham Smythe open down the seam on the right side. He did not have to, he didn't have to force the throw. He didn't have to throw the ball out quick. There's no pressure on him. It's like Mike McDaniel might have been in his ear, like, oh, I want to get this off before the 2-minute warning. Like he tried to hurry him or something, or they didn't need to hurry it. Let the 2-minute warning hit, go into the 2-minute warning, collect yourself, call the right play, make the throw. Because you're not down by much. It's 13-21. You're not down by much. Throws the interception. And then they march down the field, score a touchdown. You know, it was the crossing route, and then Likely was covered by Javon Holland. Pass was thrown to him. Javon Holland fell trying to make the tackle. Likely goes in for a touchdown. We get the ball back. Okay, let's try to take some opportunity to get some type of points, because now we're down 28-13, down 15 points, and offensive pass interference. On third down, we get an offensive pass interference that was just as equal to the touchdown they got, where their receiver ran into Duke Riley. Again, this time not as egregious, and they get the touchdown. But us, Cedric Wilson ran his route. It's not even like Cedric Wilson like bumped the guy. He just ran his route. And offensive pass interference, we end up punting. And then after that is when the wheels fell off, because we go into half down 28-13. But again, it's 28-13. It's a 2-possession game. And it's just like, at one point, it was still a 2-possession game. We forced a fumble. We get the ball back. And this is the interception that Tua throws. And it just, like, it's not a knock on him, because he's made these throws before, but it's like at this point and at this situation, you're not at practice. And I think he needs to realize, like, he can make the throw, but we need you to play it smart here. We're down 2 scores at this point. We can get in the end zone. It's still a game. It's still competitive. You know, it's not out of reach. But you see here, he tries to throw it to Tyreek Hill, who's just blanketed. This is first down. We just got the ball off the fumble. We're on our, 43? Blanketed. Throw it here, man. I know Alec Ingold's on his knees, but throw it here. Throw it here. He can make him miss, or at least, run through him. Sorry, we're on the 46. This is the down marker. Why force it here? And what happens is he throws it, linebacker tips it, safety intercepts it. Didn't have to force this. We got the ball back. We had an opportunity to make the game a closer one, make it more competitive. Throws the interception. So all in all, again, and then the wheels completely fell off, and you all know what happened after that. But there was a lot of us beating ourselves. There was a lot of us playing sloppy, miscommunication, a lot of us as in the Miami Dolphins. I say us because obviously without the fans, the team's nothing. But it's a lot of the Dolphins in their head. Like I said, the playmakers didn't show up. The play calling wasn't great at some points. Like, we needed to hurry up and march down the field. I think there was like 3 minutes left in the third quarter, and we needed to score some points, and we're throwing screens, bubble screens, and snapping the ball at like 6 seconds. And like, there was no urgency at all. Like, they need to go this week and fix it. Watch this film like it's your favorite movie of all time, and just watch it and watch it and watch it and watch it and see where you could have took what they gave you, Tua. See where they kept 7 in. See where miscommunication between Eli Apple and Duke Riley. See where you're leaving guys butt naked open. So you made Lamar Jackson look like an MVP. Not saying he's not, because obviously he's going to win it now, much deserving. But by leaving guys butt naked open and by giving Lamar 5 seconds to throw the ball, Tim Boyle would have torched us in that scenario. But looking at this game, I don't think it's doom and gloom. Some people might still think it's doom and gloom. Some people might go into this game against Buffalo and be like, we're going to get the break speed off us, yada, yada. They clean up this stuff. Tua plays a smarter game, and Tua doesn't try to force passes, and Tua doesn't try to play hero ball. And I noticed that's kind of what he does when all of a sudden his back's against the wall. He did against Buffalo his rookie year, where we're down by 21. He's like, I got to make something happen. When he doesn't play hero ball and he just takes what's given to him, we could win. But he tries too much. The defensive line, the defense didn't show up. Some of the wide receivers weren't doing great. Like I showed you, Cedric Chosen fell a few times. Some of these guys weren't getting open. It hurt not having Waddle out there because now you got two dynamic receivers out there doing their thing. Like with the Bills. Yeah, Stephon Diggs has been MIA lately, but Gabe Davis is coming out. You know what I'm saying? They need to clean it up. They can clean it up. And they got to go out and beat Buffalo. Now, this whole week is preparing for Buffalo with the Dolphins and with me. I'm going to talk more about it. I'm going to talk about what needs to happen. Can the team do it? Like, I got a ton of videos breaking that stuff down. And then Friday, I'm giving you the preview. And then Sunday night, I will be here, 8:20. My dad probably won't because he got work the next day, but I will be here. And the Miami Dolphins better beat the Buffalo Bills and take the AFC East and the number 2 seed. But other than that, I will see you guys tomorrow. Or no, later tonight. My apologies. I'll see you later tonight. Hard Knocks, episode 7. One more episode after this. They don't follow us into the playoffs. But like usual, stay classy. Fins up.